I'm Ham, and today I'm going to show you how to set up a Windows PC for Zoom Room. So to start, we're going to be on the Windows desktop here. Um, so first thing, on our desktop, all we have to do is find our browser. Doesn't matter what browser. I'm going to go ahead and open up Chrome here, and we're going to go to zoom.us/download and get the Zoom for conference room and touchscreen displays right here. All we have to do is download there. So we'll go ahead and grab this. We can just go ahead and open that up. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Yes. So first things first, what's going to happen here is Zoom Room is going to configure itself like a kiosk. So you don't have to do anything. It's going to automatically screen lock after an activity, so you'll be in compliance there. It's going to disable Cortana, push notifications, all the other crazy stuff we don't want going on when this is kiosked out just to be a Zoom Room fully on the whole time. So it will basically configure all the power plans for the computer. And in the next step here, we'll even set it up to be ready for a weekly restart. What you will notice in newer versions of Windows, when it says Zoom would like to enable automatic login for the system restart feature, please enable automatic login in Windows settings. When you do go to Windows settings and you follow these instructions, if you're on a newer version of Windows, you may not have users must enter a name and password to use this computer, plus press OK. So if you're stuck at this step, no big deal whatsoever. We're going to open up our browser. We're just going to do it with the Windows tool itself. So we're going to type in our browser, window auto log on, not log in, log on. And the first thing you should see is auto log on and sysinternals from Microsoft. It is Microsoft itself. This isn't some crazy third-party thing. This is just going to allow us to configure our computer here when I open this up for basically being able to do those login steps. So if I did run the application, I usually choose the 64-bit application because in most circumstances these days you're going to be using a 64-bit computer. 32-bit window is coming to end of life for Zoom support anyway. So I always go with the middle one, 64 and not 64 ARM unless you're running an ARM computer. So you can just go ahead and run it. Yes, and if this is just a Windows home computer or your organization doesn't have Windows domain to worry about, I always leave the domain blank. Username and then the password for the computer is what you're going to log on there. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my password right here. Auto log on successfully configured. The auto log on password is encrypted. Cool. For me, I'm not using a Windows account. This is just a bare bones user on this computer. That's how I prefer to do mine. If you are using a Microsoft account, then you would use your domain and your individual username or email from that domain and your password for that domain, and that'll work. So back to the install. So here we are. You can see if we press continue, that's pretty much it. We're going to be ready to roll now, except for one other thing that we're going to want to do, add it into device management from ZDM. So I'll show that step next. If you are using an appliance, something like a Logitech Rally Bar, a Neat Bar, a Yealink A20, A30, Poly, X50, what have you, right? You don't need to do this step because that is going to be automatically enrolled as an appliance out of the box. Zoom's going to see it and say, hey, I can update down to the OS level. With Windows, the reason we want to do device management is to be able to update down to that operating system level. Really important, if you've ever walked through an airport and you've seen those blue screens of death where Windows is pushing an emergency update. Never love to see that if you're someone that administrates these machines. If we're putting this in a boardroom or a training room, which is where we often see PCs as the backbone for Zoom rooms, we definitely don't want in the middle of a really important meeting to have Windows force an update. And so this is an important step, and I'll show you how we do that next. Here we're logged into the Zoom room itself. So if you had a controller, NeatPad, iPad, whatever it is that you're using, whether Android, Apple, you would pair it up now after getting the Zoom Room controller app up and running and into the sign-in screen, that would pair with this over your network on port 9090. But ultimately, I'm not going to do that step right now. I'm going to jump back and make sure that this device is managed before we move forward. So I'm going to press exit, and we will jump into our Zoom management side of the house. So I'm going to go zoom.us/profile to get me back into my profile. I'm going to log in right here. Here we are at zoom.us/profile. And this is where we go to administrate Zoom rooms. I have other videos on my channel that will show you other steps on how to configure Zoom rooms, do other things. In this video, I'm just going to jump into my admin section. And then since we are configuring a Zoom room, to get my Windows PC enrolled as a Zoom room down to the OS level, that is all going to happen inside of device management. Now, inside of this device management, we're going to go to enrollment. And you can see that I do have some enrolled appliances like we talked about earlier, but I need to enroll a Windows device. So what I'm going to do is roll right down to Windows, and I am going to do a manual enrollment today. So I just click on the manual enrollment right here, and it's going to give me a link to zdm.zoom.us/win. I'm going to open that in a new tab right here, and it's waiting for an access code, which is step 2, and it's that easy. I'll grab this. I'm on Windows, so Control-C, and I'm going to Control-V right there, and I'll go ahead and always allow ZDM on this account to manage it. I don't have to touch anything here. I'm just going to press next, and this should communicate with Microsoft and get us all enrolled right here. So now when I come back to enrolled Windows devices, you see this has changed to 1. So what does that allow me to do? When I'm in my device list now and I come through the view menu, I'm going to automatically have Windows selected to filter by the ones that are already enrolled in ZDM. Now I only have 1, so obviously it's sitting right here, but let's see what we can do. I can assign tags to it, wipe the device, I can remove it from Zoom, I can check for updates or upgrade the OS, assign this to a room or assign this to a group. I can check for an update here, and I can kind of come through my different classifications, look for security, looks like everything is good. I'll approve that for pending an install. I can look at critical. Is there anything critical it needs? Nope. And that's how we manage a Zoom room and get our PCs up. Now, of course, since I have this PC, if I did want to assign it down to a room, I'll search for the admin room. Here it is. If I did want to bring this license from my room management portal and now throw it down on that device, just look for that activation code at the sign-in screen on the device. We'll start Zoom rooms, and I can either pair with a controller or I can just go right here to sign in, activation code, and it's going to pull down all my branding, everything else that I need. Now all I need to do is find a controller to control this room, and I'm off to the races. Now when I want to update down to the device level, I can do this, and anytime I want to restart a device, this will come back up with that auto login. So I'm fully kiosked, I'm fully ready to go, and this is going to be a great Zoom room experience on this computer. So good luck. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and good luck. Happy Zooming.